Hi guys. Before we get into the video, I want to show y'all the straightener that I use. I use the Infinity Pro Conair. I use the Infinity Pro Conair straightener. This is really good for curling. This is a 1.5 inch straightener and I purchased it off Amazon. It curls really good and child, it's gonna glide through that hair if the hair clean. So yeah, definitely make sure you grab this straightener. And you can use any straightener. This is just what I used in the video. It's really good. I'm gonna zoom in on it again. Oh no. I believe it goes up to 450. I probably use about 385 on my clients. But this is a good straightener. So yeah, this is what I use in the video, and yeah. Hey boss babe, so the first step in curling hair is splitting the hair vertically. I like to split the hair from front to back. This just helps having full control over the hair, especially if the client has a lot of hair. The more parts, the easier it is to curl. Then I take those two sections and I make my first bottom half section and I pin the hair up. And then depending on how thin or thick the client's hair really depends on the amount of hair that you grab. And as you can see, I'm using my 1.5 inch Conair flat iron. And then, like we stated before, control is everything. So you want to make sure you have a good control over your flat iron. You want to make sure you're turning as you're gliding down the hair, no clapping, and also controlling the loose hair that has not hit the curler yet. Control is very important when it comes to curling hair. Tension is very important. Gliding is very important. You just want to make sure you are working on completely clean hair when you are curling hair. That way you can refrain from, clapping. I'm going to do another slow-mo video for you. As you can see, control. Continue spinning, no clapping, gliding. You see me grabbing the hair right here and just continue going all the way down and letting the hair bounce back up, do what it want to do. There's really nothing to it but to do it, y'all. It's super simple. And then from here, this client hair is pretty fine. So what she usually does on the sides is we split down in vertical sections to create the illusion of her having layers. We all know layers create fullness, so she didn't want to cut layers, but parting down vertically and curling away from the face creates just a layered look for a lot of clients. Again, make sure, depending on how thin or thick the client hair is, that depends on how much hair you grab when you are curling. The more hair you possibly grab, you probably have to end up clapping, especially if you're using a smaller flat iron on thicker hair. So that's why it's very important to grab thin sections so you can have control of the hair. Now, when I got to her front, I split it in two sections. I didn't want to keep curling vertically because her hair gets a little thinner in the front. So when you're working in thinner sections, I grab smaller sections of those thin sections. Just to create the illusion of fullness. So I parted the probably quarter half the front, and I split that in two as well. And I continue to curl vertically. Control, glide and turn. And as you can see, this piece right here is pretty thin. Then we get up to the top half. Now with this, I could have went two ways. I could have really just took this one section and kind of just held it at the root, came down a little bit and curled it to create the illusion of just like a side swoop, full bang. But she wanted to split those sections in two. Of course, just to create more layers in the hair. And this is my last piece on this side. And as you can see, I keep splitting. Also, just a little keynote, if you're a client that likes to have, or if you're a stylist that likes to have height to your bangs or height to your hair, make sure to curl upward, then turn, instead of curling down. So when it comes to my clients, I like to split their hair in two sections vertically. This just helps get the big chunks of hair out the way, and then with those vertical sections, I split horizontally. And then from there, I grab small sections. The smaller the section, the easier it is to have control of the hair, especially if you're a beginner curler. And then from there, you want to make sure the tension on your straightener, all on the wrist when you're curling. So when you get the hair and you grab it, it's more so like you want to start turning the straightener as you start. So if you get the hair and you just kind of glide down, it's going to be a little flat from the root to wherever you glide down at. But the key is to start turning. Make sure you grab the hair, because you usually have loose hair hanging out right here. So make sure you grab the hair and flip it. So just turn, grab the hair, have control, flip it. That's how your hand should be when you're curling. So, and usually when people get to the top of the head, like when you get to this top section, a lot of people, they'll just kind of do like that and then turn. But if you want tight curls, you would definitely turn at the root. Control, control. You see how this hand has this? Control, 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 control. You kind of use both hands when you're curling. Control, control. And it's not gonna curl because the straightener's not on, but the whole thing is to have control when you're using a straight iron. I see a lot of people curl like this, and then they do like that. That's where you have those dents in the hair. When you're doing like that, that's when you have those dents in the hair. Your hair should be clean enough to where you can glide it. Like you should be able to glide it. Just glide it. Make sure you turn tight. And then a lot of people too, told y'all how to do it. A lot of people too, after you get down to the end, a lot of people just curl back up, hold it, and then let it go. And then that's how you'll get, that tight curl and kind of set the heat in. So it's different ways, but the whole thing is just to make sure you have a lot of tension. You're holding your straightener as tight as possible, and you're gliding down the hair, and you're turning and controlling this one little piece that's hanging out. Turn, control the piece, turn, control the piece. So hopefully that helped you. Hopefully that helped you guys. I just want to kind of give you just the basis of curling hair. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you later.